I'm Jono Buchanan. What we're going to do in this episode is to re-explore a theme we've looked at in other episodes on the channel. This idea that actually, you know what, we're kind of attracted to the roughness that sometimes comes with sounds. Fuzz, buzz, crunch, amps, all the kind of noise that can be added to sounds and the ways in which that can just add a character to the sounds that we're working on. And what's really interesting is that kind of left to their own devices, a lot of Logic synths do actually sound a little bit dry and a little bit lacking in those sorts of characters. And we're going to find another way within this particular episode of bringing a particular kind of crunch and character to different sounds. An idea of reamping, being able to place sounds through amplifiers. An interesting concept, I think. What we're going to do is we're going to listen to the track that I've got going in progress, and as ever, because I'm a bit of a tease, we're leaving one sound out of the mix for now. Moody vibes. Okay, what I've got is a couple of things here. So I've got a cinematic funk kit from Drum Machine Designer, a kit I've used before because I like it. It's playing a kick and a snare, but it's also throwing in the occasional little pitch sample, like the one on the front. Like those. So these little kind of dusty samples, which I think in a way were kind of the inspiration for what this episode's going to go on to be. These sounds have got a kind of slightly wobbly crunchiness, which I think is kind of interesting. Then I've got a sort of hat loop, which is coming from one of the loops within the loop browser. So this is just providing some kind of top end. So rather than hats coming from Drum Machine Designer, they're coming from somewhere else. So there we are, that's what's happening there. And then what we've got is this electric piano part, and it's here that we're going to focus our attention. So left to its own devices, the electric piano is really nice. It's got this lovely Rhodesy kind of a quality, but my word, it's pretty pure. So one thing we could do to kind of rough this sound up would be to pass it through Chromaglow. And if you haven't had a look at that plugin yet, there is an episode that you can go and watch all about it. But what I want to do is to do something slightly different this time. What I'm going to do is to set up an auxiliary channel here. And to this auxiliary channel, oh look, some are being used already. Let's come to bus 8, the first available one that I can see that definitely isn't assigned. What I'm going to do is to then set up on this sound Amp Designer. Now this is sitting here in my most recent folder, but as you know by now, you can just go searching for it by beginning to type its title. And what you'll discover is that the Amp Designer is here, and I'm going to just open that up. Now, obviously the Amp Designer was primarily designed for guitarists, but like so many things within Logic, that doesn't mean that it's exclusively reserved for axe wielders. What we're going to do is to add it to this electric piano. So what am I actually looking at here? Well, what we've got is a combination within this plugin of the idea of an amp and a cabinet. In other words, the amplifier that's going to literally amplify the signal. Again, let's think about electric guitars for a moment, plugging in the electric circuit into the amp, and then the cabinet, which is the kind of speaker, the bit over here. And these are two separate things. Even though they look like they're kind of part of the same thing, we actually have a chance to make those independent. So what I can do is to choose from a long list of amps and a long list of cabinets, and I can either match those, or if I want to, I might decide that what I want to do is to come into something entirely different. So in other words, I've got one particular type of amp now then sort of connected to a different type of cab. So those are the two things that are happening there. Now what you can also see over on the right hand side is that the way that the kind of virtual miking of this cab is going to be set up is that I've got an opportunity to choose the type of microphone that I want to pick up a sound through. And before you're thinking, what microphone are you talking about, Jono? Let me explain. So if what I wanted to do was to record the sound of an amp and that amp was a physical device, of course what I would have to do is to put a microphone in front of it and actually record that as an audio signal, and a virtual version of that is what we're looking at within this particular plugin. So what I can do is to choose the type of mic, and I can even move it. So in other words, what I can do is to say, right, I do want to use a ribbon mic, but rather than miking the very middle of the kind of speaker cone that's coming from the cab, what I can do is to either back it away so it's further away, therefore the signal is less direct, and what I can also do is to move it off axis, which means that rather than miking the kind of middle of the sound, the place where the sound is directed from, instead what I'm in a position to do is to kind of get away from that, and that's going to have pretty significant implications for the tone of this sound. So what I've got here is a chance to literally sort of amp this sound, choose the amount of gain, the amount of drive if you like, and then to EQ that as well, sort of biasing the sound towards extra bass or mid-range or treble. What I've also then got is a kind of built-in reverb unit and some other effects as well that we're going to come to in just a moment. For now, what I'm going to do is to turn off the reverb. I'm going to stick with the kind of basic design of the original sort of default amp, this British amp. I am going to keep this kind of boutique retro 2x12 option for the cab, and let's just have a listen. So remember, because I've set this up as an auxiliary channel, I've got two ways of being able to control its volume. Firstly, how much signal do I want to send from the electric piano into the amp designer plugin? And then separately, I've got a volume control for it here because, of course, this is literally just the amplified signal. Let's have a listen. So the moment I bypass it, what we're going to hear is we're getting all this extra volume for sure, but also this kind of warmth and this kind of glue, and it's kind of magical and wondrous. Now what I'm also going to do is to actually turn on the reverb amount, or the reverb sort of built into this guitar amp as well. This is going to give us a different type of reverb flavour. And it's got this kind of spring reverb quality, which I really like. It's just a little bit muddy and a little bit gluey, and I think that's all quite nice. Now, what we're going to tend to find, or certainly I'm finding, is that we're getting a little bit of sort of overload from the bass the moment we turn on the reverb. That's okay, I've got a built-in EQ, so I'm in a position to decide to back that off a little bit if I want to. And we've got another little effects circuit as well within Amp Designer. I'm going to turn that on now, and what this does is to give me the opportunity to either have tremolo or vibrato added to the sound as well. I can synchronize that to tempo if I want to. At the moment, that sync option is on and it's running at a quarter note, and this is the depth control, the amount of that I'm adding to the sound. And this is just going to make things, particularly if I use tremolo, a little bit wobbly. Or indeed a lot wobbly. Okay, what I'm going to do now is to put that back in with the drums. And suddenly we've got loads more presence, and there's a kind of dusty retroness to this, which I really like now. It sort of feels like it's much more in tune with what the drums are trying to be. Now, speaking of the drums, actually reamping drums is a really nice thing to do as well. And what we're going to focus on next is just the kick and the snare and these little sort of pitch samples, which are part of the cinematic funk kit. I'm not going to add any treatment to the sort of top end of this. So what I'm going to do instead is to come and find the next available bus, Again, I'm going to turn up its send level, and this time we're going to come back into Amp Designer, and obviously by now for you as well, that will now be in your most recent list. So we're in a position just to add that directly. And what we can do is to choose a different type of amp and cab combination. Now, in addition to choosing those yourself, if you want to, you'll find that there is a whole bunch of presets here in clean, crunch, and distorted sort of categories. It's sort of kind of irresistible, isn't it? Shall we? Hold on to your hats. Can't really hear the difference, to be honest. Sounds like the original drums to me. Exactly the same. So I don't know why they've put that in the distorted folder. It's disappointing, that, isn't it? Okay, obviously it's totally crazy, but it does sort of tell us something quite interesting, doesn't it, about all those electric guitar tones that we're kind of so familiar with, that we can run drums through a treatment like this and suddenly they sort of sound halfway to being guitars. It tells you an interesting thing about harmonic content and what happens when we amplify signals in interesting ways. And obviously this is kind of crazy and ridiculous, but at the same time, what's kind of interesting is that some aspects of this work really nicely. And I do kind of wonder what might happen if we back down the gain, turn down the treble, and massively turn down the level of this treatment. What would that sound like? Well, what that tells me is that I really don't like it on the samples, the kind of electric piano samples, but I do kind of like it on the drums. So one thing that I could definitely do would be to separate those two elements out, kind of duplicate the drum machine designer, take the treatment off the pitch samples and just leave it on the drum sounds if I wanted to. But what we're actually going to do is to find a treatment that feels like it works across the board for these drums. So I'm sorry, American Stack Distort. You're not for me. What I'm going to do instead is to come and see what happens in the kind of more crunchy areas. I clicked on that and then forgot to click on actual sort of presets. I just wonder if we went for something a little bit more British. Quite like that. Again, bringing in the reverb suddenly makes me want to kind of back off the amount that the amp's doing at the bass end. But suddenly, and with this kind of out of sync tremolo speed, I've selected tremolo, but this time we're not synchronized. And as a result, what I've got a chance to do is to kind of change that in hertz. So we've got movement now in cycles per second rather than absolutely locked to tempo. Again, there's just something unpredictable and kind of weird about that. Let's hear that with the electric piano. Okay, so far what we've done is to look at sounds that kind of feel like there are of a particular era. There's a kind of 70s vibe to this, isn't there, as a result of the Rhodes? Or is that just me? But what happens when we take sounds and we pass them through kind of synth sequences as well? I've got my favorite airy pick sound from Retro Synth, but what I've done is to add an arpeggiated to this so that we get a kind of classic synth arpeggiation sequence. Always finding ways to trip over my own tongue. mesmerizing, isn't it? Okay, so what we've suddenly got now is an opportunity to hear what happens with a couple of different changes. So firstly, I've swapped over the type of mic over here, coming for a sort of SM57 kind of a vibe with this dynamic mic. But what you can also see is that what I've done is to come off axis as far as this microphone position is concerned. What I don't like is super proximity and all of the fizz that comes with being right in the middle of that speaker cone. And the moment I kind of get away from that, what we get is none of that kind of resonant kind of top end, or much less of it, and the sound just becomes a little bit more mellow. And as always, what we can do is to label that. So this is going to be our synth amp. And then what I can do is to mix it in, not just in terms of the amp level relative to the original synth line, but also just kind of mixing the level of this part relative to the drums and the electric piano. And it goes without saying that, of course, because these are auxiliary channels featuring the amps for all different three instrument types, all of the different instrument types, I'm in a position to automate those. So if what I wanted to do was to have the level of a synth amp come and go, or introduce it for a particular part of my song, then of course I'm just absolutely in a position to do that as well. So if you're looking for another way to bring a kind of treatment to your sounds, which is just a little bit fuzzier, a little bit less pure, a little bit less precise, reamping is a really nice way to go. And it just goes to prove that amps aren't just for guitarists, and that's always reassuring too. It's there, go and have a play with it. And of course, there are amp models within Pedalboard as well, just to go and help you find even more ways to kind of rough up your sounds.